Welcome to Practice to Perfect, right? And what we're going to go over today is we're going to go over the database. And the database is super important for so many reasons, right? And when we start thinking about how you can build a sustainable business, it's all about the relationships that you have and being able to cultivate those relationships strategically and systematically. And so what we have is we're going to start off with a video from one of our top agents, as well as James Shaw. And we will pause the video at certain times to kind of do some breakdowns. And then we're going to look at what's important for a database and what we should be having in it, as well as how we can start looking at our database as far as how many dollars are truly in it. So with that being said, let's kick it off.
I'm not getting any sound.
Neither, Charles.
Can no one hear it? Okay, thank you. I think I ran into this last time. So let's do this. New share. Share sound. So, I don't know what my it's like, Charles, please enter your password. Like I know it. Hold on. Oh, hold on. You know, I probably won. Free password, I know. Give me a thumbs up if this works.
Growth director for the South Florida region, a former agent, a former team leader. I mean, so many things. And I love database, and you and I talk database a lot. And so it's going to be a lot of fun to walk through this today.
It sure is. I know that, James, you've taught this over the years, and I live this. And we've actually spent a lot of time together at Family Reunion on the stage. And it's been 3 years now that we got to share this content, and you got to help me feel really uncomfortable and get really purposeful about pouring into and properly categorizing and tagging my database. So let's just share with everyone what all we've learned over the years.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do. And I'll tell you, this is what we know. A database is a record of your relationships. That's what it is. And it helps us remember all those people, build relationship with them, and stay in touch with them, because quite frankly, the size of our business is going to be in direct proportion to the size of the database and how often we communicate with it. And Jenny, we only have mental space for so many people. Like I imagine in Tulsa that you can walk through the grocery store and run into somebody and you go, yep, sold them a house, it's at this address, and you remember them. And then there's times you walk past somebody and you have no idea you've sold them a house. We can't possibly remember them all. That's why we need a system.
That's so true. And it actually happens all the time. So thanks for pointing that out.
Well, and that's the point, right? That's why we've got to work the database and not just have one. And that's why we got to have a system to go back and work. In fact, let's look at some numbers as to why. And, you know, every year at Family Reunion, we go and Gary gets up on stage and he talks about the study that the National Association of Realtors does every year. And here's what they say. They say basically every single person who does business with a real estate agent would use that agent again, except hardly anybody does. And Jenny, why is that? Why is it everybody says they would and hardly anybody does?
Because the agent doesn't remind them. We don't stay in touch with them.
Guys, so let's think about that, right? What they just said was that the NAR, the National Association of Realtors, runs a study every year, and they send out to the consumer. and they say, hey, would you use your current real estate agent or your past real estate agent that helped you buy your house? And they said, absolutely, I would. And what they find is that they don't. And they ask them, well, why don't you use them? And they said, I don't remember who they were. I don't know their name. I don't know their phone number. I don't know their email. So what they're saying is, guys, that we in this industry are awful when it comes to staying in front of our database, right? That we're going through and we are very transactional, and that we need to be going out and reaching out and keep developing the relationships and checking in on them and seeing how they're doing and looking at what their business looks like, right? I know that I talked to a lot of agents, and a lot of agents say, Charles, I don't want to keep bugging this person. I don't want to do this. I don't want them to think that I'm only here to help them or to, make money off of them. And this is the thing, guys, when we're coming from contribution and curiosity and staying in front of them by seeing how their family's doing, giving them price updates, giving them things that are valuable, they appreciate it. So let's keep that in mind as we're going through this, that we need to be having strategic conversations that are systematic so that we can stay in front of people. And can anyone tell me how many times per year we need to be reaching out to our database so that we can take so much mind share that they only think of us when it comes to real estate? There's a number, there's a magic number out there.
66.
I like 66, but that's how many days it takes to form a habit. So 66 days is how long we know that if we were to do things over and over again, that's when it'll start to stick and we don't have to think of it anymore. It's a little bit less than 66, thank God. It's actually 36. It's a 36 touch. And so when we're thinking about systematically and strategically communicating out to our database, we need to be reaching out 36 times. And that's what I can also tell you. We start thinking about Brittany Heckenberg, and we start thinking about Sylvia Snape, right? In their different businesses, they have a 54 touch system. They are reaching out to their databases 54 times per year. And when we start thinking about Brittany's business, right? Brittany is doing about $30 million in volume a year. Do you think the people are getting tired of seeing her when she's doing that kind of business? No, right? So as long as we're doing the right things and we're pouring into them, we're going to be able to take so much massive mind share that we'll be doing so much more business. So 36 is also what I want you guys to keep in mind.
We got to stay in touch and build the relationship. Look at this. This is why your database is essential. And this is looking at a 20-year career. If you got only the 18% return from the database that people give, right? NAR's study shows that only 18% of people are doing business with their previous agent. And look what happens. Over 20 years, it takes you 20 years to get to 100 transactions if you're getting only 18% of your database to do business with you every year. This is a big deal because they want to give you so much more business than that. Look at this. This would be if we got the return that the public says they would like to give us. The most recent data that we have says 72% of buyers and sellers are saying they would do business with us again. They are telling you we want to do business. And if we actually got that return, look at this, Jenny. It's in 20 years, you're doing 2,000 units instead of 100. And I think it's 9 years in, you're getting to 100 deals. This is a big deal. They're saying, please do business with us and please stay in touch with us.
Guys, I think that's also very big data to keep in mind. So when we go through this and we start thinking that only 18% of the buyers and sellers are reusing their previous agent, what does that mean for us? So this as I'm thinking about it, has anyone heard of an orphaned client? So an orphaned client is this. Let's say that I'm on the buy side or I'm on the sell side. It doesn't matter. I think the sell side is probably more prevalent, but let's say I list a house. And obviously I'm the listing agent and the buyer's agent does the transaction. And then one of the things that I do is that I know who the buyer was and I know who the listing or the buyer's agent was, and I know when they purchased the house, and then I take over that client, right? I start doing the monthly mail outs. I start reaching back out because we know that only 18%. So 2 out of every 10 deals, the agent's staying in touch. So the likelihood of the agents that I'm doing business with that are staying in touch with their client are slim to nil. So what would it look like if every time that you have done a transaction that you just assume that their agent is no longer going to be reaching out to them? And if you were to start reaching out to them and start providing them value, how much more mind share could you take? And guys, that's when we start thinking about these geographical farms, right? That's why so many agents have so much success building businesses through their geographical farms, because the agents that helped them get into these homes stopped staying in touch with them. And so they don't know who their agent was anymore. So if we're doing mail outs, and we are sending out pieces of mail, we're doing emails, we're doing all these different things to these consumers, the chances are 8 out of 10 of them will use us because they do not remember their previous agent, because their previous agent did not stay in contact with them. So what does that look like? Do you have a geographical farm right now? And are you going through and just putting enough content in front of them so that they think that you were their agent and are able to help them go through this and build their business a little bit further?
That's so true, James, because you don't want to just survive in real estate. We want to thrive. We want to have an amazing business. And when it's a referral-based business of people that already know you, trust you, and like you, it's so much more fun. I'm just going to say.
So Jenny, there are 4 laws to our database that we've got to follow. You live these. This is the lifeblood of your business. Walk us through the 4 laws of the database.
You're right. I love the 4 laws, and we use them all the time in our business. So the first law is to build a database. Now, real estate agents ask me all the time, how do I build a big business like yours? And that's where you got to start. You got to build a database with people that you already know. That's where you start. The second law is to feed it. So feeding it means you're adding to it. So either new people are getting added to your database, or maybe some new data with those people is getting added. And then number 3 is you're going to systematically communicate to your database. So this is already spelled out for us in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. We don't have to go reinvent the wheel on how to do this. We just will apply touch programs to our people. And then also, lastly, we will service all the leads that come our way. And this is the most fun. This is when the people raise their hand, they're ready to work with us, and we get to help them either buy or sell a home. That is where our work of delivering an amazing client experience comes back to us.
It's so amazing. And these 4 laws are the building blocks for this course. In fact, each lesson will go deep on all 4 of these so that you can be ready to go. And so let's talk about what a database looks like. Let's talk about building it. And that's looking at what we used to call the lead generation model. We now call the database model. And this has kind of grown over time from the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. We've got a new version of it now that we're so excited to share with you. And Jenny, it starts with capturing leads through being prospecting focused and marketing enhanced so that you can add people to that database.
Guys, so if you want to take a screenshot of this, I'm going to pause it real quick. But right, when we start thinking about this and we start thinking about the funnel, right, the first thing that we need to do through prospecting and marketing, right, when I start thinking about prospecting, that's actually a time-based activity, to where I'm going through and I might be door knocking, cold calling, going to different events, B2B events. Maybe I'm going to the Chamber of Commerce, all these different things. That's prospecting. And then I have marketing, right? Marketing is when maybe I'm throwing out some Facebook posts. I'm sending out some open house flyers, some mail outs, some different things, right? So prospecting is time-based. Marketing is dollar-based. And when we're going through here, those are the 2 different things that we're going to do to get people to raise their hand. Once we get those names, phone numbers, and emails, we put them into our database. And once they move from the database to this left side, which is the leads, right? A lead is someone that we are communicating to, right? To where maybe I'm sending them emails, I'm sending them text messages, I'm doing different things, but they're not responding to me. That is a lead. And a contact is actually somewhere where we're having a 2-way conversation, to where I'm talking to them and they're talking back, right? That is a contact. So a lead is a one-way conversation, and a contact is a two-way conversation. And then we prepare the contacts for the conversion, right? And that's when we're actually going through and we're having real estate conversations. Hey, how can I help you? Are you looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? How can I be the real estate economist of choice for you? And then that fourth piece is we're getting new and repeat and referrals from that contact, right? So this is the life cycle of a lead and how we're going through, and we are truly building monstrous businesses. This is what that funnel looks like.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, just like we've always done, now we're going to just categorize our people that are in our database. They're either leads or they're contacts. And what that means is that a lead is somebody who's come into our world somehow, and we just haven't yet connected with them or converted them to become a contact. And I think we're going to dive into that here right next.
Yeah, we are, because we want to think about our database as a container. And we are filling it with like you said, leads. So someone's responded because we've done a Facebook ad campaign through Command, and so we're getting people's contact information, or we're doing an open house and we're gathering that. We don't have a relationship with them. We don't know them. It's a lead, and yet we put them in our database container so that we can grow that relationship. And then Jenny, you guys have past clients, and you've got raving fans, and you've got people that you've done business with over the years. Those are your contacts. You have a two-way relationship with them, and they sit in that container of your database as well. And that takes us to the third step in that, which is being prepared to help all of those people when they need us.
Yep, that's right. And you're going to have systems and processes in place so that is already set up for you, and you know what you're going to do along the way.
Right. And the benefit of this is that now you can systematically and predictably grow your business. We can actually show you the relationship between the number of people in the database, in that container, and the amount of business available to you, so that all you have to do at the beginning of any year is go, here's how many homes I want to sell. Do I have enough people? And if you do, you're in great shape. So let's do that right now. Let's jump in and look at an example. And let's say we have an agent and they want to make $100,000, right? And so they go, I want to make $100,000 a year. Well, you know that we've got to go into the economic model to figure out the path for that. And so what you see right now is the economic model, which is a 30-30-40 business. You take 40% of your gross commission income, we call it your GCI, and that's what you should net. That's what you're going to take home. Then 30% of that gross, that's going to cover expenses, and the other 30% is going to cover cost of sale. Jenny, for you, cost of sale is going to be what? Referral fees you pay, your buyer agents, listing specialists, company dollar you pay to your market center, right?
Yep, that's it.
And expenses are going to be everything else. Your signs, your lock boxes, your dues, office space, all that, cell phone, all that kind of stuff's going to fit in there. Now, I got to tell you as a sidebar, if you're making $100,000 a year, your expenses and cost of sale are probably going to be lower than what you see here, and yet let's learn the model and account for it from the beginning. So if that's the case, we get to a GCI of $250,000. You want to net 100, got to gross 250. Well, we got to figure out how many homes is that going to take us. So we just divide that by our average commission in our market, which in this example is $7,150. And when you do that, you do the math, it's 35 units. And now we know kind of the spot for the goal, where we'd like to go and what we'd like to see happen. And Jenny, ultimately then the question, and I know you've done this with your team, the question is, do we have enough people in our database to reach the goal, right?
That is so true, James. It's actually on my 411 that every week I'm tracking our contacts number so that I know that we are on target for achieving the family served for our goal every year.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And the remaining courses in this series are going to help you dive into how to work that database so you can get the most out of it and it truly becomes a data bank for you. So let's look at your opportunity and make sure that you're getting what you should get. And this is kind of just a basic overview. So let's look at our example. Let's say that you've got 900 people in the database. That's a great sized database. Be very excited about that. Here's what we know. The data shows us that about 6% of the people in your database are going to move every year. So you take the 900, multiply it by 6%. Now, Jenny, we got to tell the truth about something. We don't always get all that business. And even for you, you're going to do almost 200 homes this year, 200 families. And yet I know that there's times that there's someone in your database who actually does business with somebody else.
It's so true, and it's so painful. And I've done this business long enough to know that you got to have thick skin, and you got to keep lead generating and following up so that these do not bring you down and knock you down. And it's true, James, we have to, even when we do stay in touch with all the people in our database, sometimes they don't work with us.
Right. And that's why in this example, we've put in a...
Guys, when we start thinking about this, right, and they're talking about the database, and with our databases, this could be multifaceted, right? Yes, start thinking about your CRM. How many people are in your CRM? Whatever the CRM is, if you're with KW, right, you understand that is command. And then when we go through, also, how many people are in your cell phone? I am holding up my cell phone, but I have a green screen on and you cannot see it. But this is not me talking Italian at you and just throwing my hands. I actually have a cell phone there. So when we go through, how many people do we have? And guys, a very quick and rough way to do this is open up your cell phone. I promise it's still in my hand. Go to your contacts, right? Open up your contacts, open up that app. And then if you're on an iPhone, just hit that pound sign at the very bottom. And it says that I have 1,570 contacts in my cell phone. So when you're going through your cell phone, right, look at what that number is. That's going to be one of the big things that we're going to look at. And are we doing a good job at staying in contact and in relationship with these people, right? Because this is the thing, guys. If we were to go through, I don't know what the statistic is, but I would assume that everyone in the Denver Metro probably knows 10, 15 other real estate agents, right? And with the other statistic that we just saw, that only 20%, 18% of real estate agents even stay in contact with their past clients, there is a lot of opportunity, guys. I talk to agents all the time that say, well, Charles, I don't want to be salesy, or, I just don't know what to say. I don't want to, constantly just be popping up, or, I didn't reach out to these people when I wasn't a real estate agent. So it feels kind of weird reaching out to them now. And so, guys, I would say those are limiting beliefs, and that we need to be going out and developing these relationships and staying in front of our people. So for our very first exercise, let me move this. Not that one, this one. So let me share this with you. I am going to put it into the chat channel for those participating at home, which is most of the group, which is all the group. And so there's your very first PDF. So download that PDF. And then let's look at this, right? As we're going through, this was the example that James was showing us, and it's the learn. And it was saying just $100,000 net income. So what we all know, and especially if you just went through real estate school, right, is net is dollars after expenses, right? And so what they've done here is they said, I want this to be my net income, 100K. And like he said, that your operating costs and your cost of sales probably are not going to be this high as we're just starting out. And guys, they get a lot lower depending on if you're doing friends, family referral business. But if you're going out and you're spending money on Zillow leads or realtor.com or any of these different pieces, your expenses might be a little bit higher. And then also at KW, we cap our cost of sale, right? There's other companies out there that your cost of sale is going to keep rising and rising and rising depending on how much you sell. But at KW, your cost of sale your cost of sale is capped. So like when I start thinking about our top agents, their cost of sale is around like 6%, because they are not having to go out and pay exorbitant fees. They're only paying that 21. So when we look at this, guys, this is what it would look like. So we say that whatever our net income is, so whatever you guys want to make, do you want to make $100,000 after taxes and expenses? Do you want to make $50,000 year one? Do you want $200,000 year one? Put that number in here, right? And so I'm going to go through and let's just go 150K, just because if I put in 100K, why would I do that? Because it's already there. So then we're going through. And so I said, fill in my piece. I want 100K. So then what we need to do is we say $100,000 divided, or 150K divided by 40,000, or 40%, right? So I'm taking $150,000 and I divide that by 40%. That says $375,000. That's what I'm going to put here, right? So I need to bring in $375,000 in total GCI is what I would need to do, right? And then, so then what we do is just calculate operating expenses. So I take that full number, that's $375,000, and I multiply that by 30%. And that says that I'm going to be spending around $112,500 in operating expenses. And I know that 30% and 30%, so it's just going to be the exact same number. What are our thoughts around there? So guys, when you're seeing just this front piece that we're putting on here, that for me to net $150,000, I'm going to have about $112,000 in expenses. I'm going to have about $112,000 in cost of sales, right, guys? This might be transaction fees. This might be coaching. This is what you're going to pay to the brokerage, right? All these different pieces, which means that I need to actually make $375,000 to net $150,000. What are your thoughts around that? Not everyone at once. There's only 3 faces that I can see, and 1 face is behind a motorcycle right now. So I can see the people reaching towards their cameras or their microphones to unmute it. Haley, there we go.
So is this also in the command?
Dashboard, yes.
Yeah, I think I calculated all of my numbers in there, so I really like that, and I like how it's already adding the 30%. So that way that is already calculated in.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing, right? Is when we start talking about this cost of sale, you know that your cost of sale for the brokerage at least is only that 21. So right. It doesn't go up to 112.5. That's also going to be maybe your coaching. That might be your transaction coordinator. Those are all the things that are going to be encompassing with the sale that you might have extras. And so you're not going to be paying all that to the brokerage, which is pretty neat. And then your operating expenses, right? That's like RE Colorado. That is going to be any open house literature that you're printing. All those different pieces is what those expenses are going to look like. Awesome. Any other takeaways from at least this piece, guys? Is this kind of like a shocking number to look at, like $375,000 to make 150? I think Maria was going to say no, and then Haley unmuted her.
No, I said yes and no. It makes sense. You know, it does make sense.
Yeah, absolutely. So then, guys, what we do is this. What is our average commission in the state of Colorado, right? So if we were to do this, and we were to say that the average sales price right now, let's just call it $600,000, which I know is a little bit low. And then what we want to do is we want to multiply 600,000 by, let's call it 3%. And the reason why I'd say 3% is this. We know to have a healthy business, we need to have half of our business being buy side, and we need to have half of our business being on the sell side. And when we start thinking about a listing, it's 3.2% in most cases. And on the buy side, it's about 2.8. So let's round it to 3%. And so if we were to take $600,000 times 3%, that is an $18,000 commission. So on our average commission amount, let's put $18,000. And then what we do, right, is we take the number that we needed and we divide it by our commission. So let's take $375,000 and we're going to divide it by 18,000 bucks. Guys, this is 20 deals in the state of Colorado. So to earn 150K, you need to be doing about 20 deals to net $150,000, which is definitely an achievable number, right? Like when we start going through this, and like I said, depending on the business model that you're doing, these numbers are a little bit high, right? Like this is truly, I am investing big money into my business, which I don't think that a lot of people are doing, right? Like if I were to get $100, they're saying that I'm going to spend $30 in operating expenses, like towards advertising and different pieces. And then it's going to cost me about $30 for every 100 that I make as well. So 20 deals total. And just think about this, guys. Like when we start thinking about where we are in the state of Colorado with our average commission, this is what they're doing. This is the national average over here. The national average is a $7,100 commission check. So you were having to do so much less work, right? Because we're getting 150 for 20 deals. For $100,000, they're having to do 35 deals in the rest of the nation for the most part. So luckily that we're here in the state of Colorado. So then it says, let's uncover our opportunities. So if you scroll down to the second worksheet, it's talking about the number of contacts in your database, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to go into command. I'm just going to work everything off of my cell phone that is still invisible. And I go through and it's at 1,570. So I have 1,570 guys, and some of these aren't real, right? Like I look at one of these, I have my storage code as one of them. Like my very last one is my storage code. But let's go through just for the example. And I have 1,570, and I multiply that by 0.06%, right? 6%. That is 94 people. Based off of the studies that they have done, 94 people out of my database should be looking to buy or sell this year. 94. And let's just say that maybe I was only batting, let's go 30%. I'm going to say that I have a 30% conversion rate. So if I had a point, that's a 0.3, Charles. 30%. So if I were to say that times, 1570, my one's not working, 1570 times 0.06 times 30%, that is 28 people. If I were only converting at 30%, which is super low, guys. The one that they showed us was 50. But let's just say only 1 out of 3 people out of my current opportunities means I would have 28 opportunities this year to be able to close. So then they're saying this, my goal is 20. And so this is what I'm doing. So I need 20 deals, and then I am going to divide it by 0.06%, which is the average again. And then I divide that again by 30%. That means I need 1,111 contacts to hit my goal, right? And we already know that I have 1,500. So they're saying that I don't even need to be able to get all of them. I could leave 400 of them on the table and be okay. So then if we're going to go through a little bit further, we're going to say 1,111 contacts times a 6% conversion rate times the number that I have, which is 1570. I need to bring in about 104,000 contacts. So let's just double check that. Let's go 1,000 times 0.06 times 1570. Yep, 104,000. Guys, what do we think about this giant number? I need to have 104,000 contacts in my database to be able to hit my 20 units.
I'm thinking that's not going to happen, Charles. Not this
Right.
year.
So guys, when we're thinking about this, right, what can we be doing to clean up this number, right? It says like this number will vary, duh. But like, what do we think about all this then? Like, what should we be doing so we don't need to be adding this many people? Guys, it's just the answer is this. It's just being strategic and systematic, right? What this whole thing boils down to is we're not going to be able to go through and add 104,000 people. Let's be very realistic in this. right? Because if I were to look at this and say my current opportunity out of 1,500 times 6%, because 6% is going to be moving. And if I were to only be able to get 3% or 30% of that 6%, I would still have 28 opportunities that would sell. So in the 28 opportunities just means this, that I need to be very systematic and strategic with this 1,570. So if we go through to the next piece, this is what it looks like. Let me copy it. Let me send it into the chat for you. Here's the second worksheet, guys, and this is what's important, right? The other numbers should be eye-opening and be like, oh my God, like that's pretty grueling. But this is what it looks like. Level 1 is essential. This is the bare minimum of what we need to be doing. We need to obtain their preferred name, right? Like when we start thinking about this is like a dumb moment. And for the most part, if we're doing different things where we're bringing in leads, online leads in different pieces, they might be giving us a different name than what they prefer. So number 1, I need to have their preferred name, and I need to have valid contact information, right? And what that looks like is I need what? I need their name, which is number 1. Number 2, I need their email. I need their phone number. And obviously I need their address, right? This is how we're going to be able to systematically and strategically communicate out to people. We need to be going through and making sure that we have these different pieces. And what's also very big, guys, is this record past communication and past business. I don't know how many people were here last year when Brittany was, we had Brittany and Jordan and Katie on the stage. They were in the office, but let's just pretend there was a stage in there. And what we did is we asked them, how do they build a big business? And one of their pro tips was everyone that they communicate to goes in their phone, their database, and they take notes on it, including agents. They even put the agents in the database and the conversation and the business that they had with them. So then when they're doing a second deal, they're actually calling, they're saying, hey, Jeff, this is Charles over at KW. We just looked at your house on 123 Main Street. My client's interested in putting in an offer. And when we did that deal on 157 Blue Street last year, it was a smooth transaction. And I'm looking forward to doing another deal with you. Guys, that's huge. Everyone that we're in relationship with and we have contact with, we need to be taking notes. I'm doing this with past vendors. If I had a contractor, I'm actually putting what house that I used them on. Or if I'm going through, I'm just making sure that I'm taking very strategic notes so that firstly, if the deal was awful, it's in there and I'll be like, don't use this dude because this is what happened. And, or I'm able to be like, when someone raises their hand, they're saying, Charles, I need an electrician. I'm saying, well, hey, you need to reach out to this person because they are awesome. And then it's at will communication, right? When we start thinking about the at will communication, it's going through and we are giving them the information that they need, right? This is things that is pertinent to them that they actually care about. Someone give me an example of what we think at will communication looks like. Someone give me a definition of, or an example of information that someone would care about. How about that? What do you think someone would care about? Go ahead, Anna. Oh, you're breaking up a little bit, at least on my side. Can anyone hear Anna, or is it just me? No.
No. Are you talking about like sending them like information about their neighborhood or?
Yeah, absolutely. Firstly, yes, absolutely. Stuff about their neighborhood, guys. People care about what is happening in their neighborhoods. They care about how much the home prices have increased. Guys, and this is the thing, you don't have to be their real estate agent to do this. You're going to become their real estate agent. But let's just think for an example that you didn't sell them their home. We know that only 20% of real estate agents are staying in touch with the people that they've already helped buy and sell real estate. Are we doing a good job looking in our cell phone and setting people up on the monthly neighborhood nurture? Raise of hands. Raise your hand if you have at least 10 people signed up for a monthly neighborhood nurture. Guys, that's an opportunity. No one raised their hand there. Guys, this is valuable information. People care about this. We should be asking for permission. This is that second piece. To be effective, we have to ask for permission. This is what it looks like. I'm saying, hey, Haley, it's Charles. How are you doing? Hey, I know it's been a long time. Just want to touch base, see how you and the family are doing. You guys staying safe and healthy? Good. That's awesome. Hey, one of the things that my company just rolled out is what we call a monthly neighborhood nurture. And what this monthly neighborhood nurture does is it provides my clients and my friends with up-to-date information on when houses are selling in their neighborhood, which everyone has found super beneficial. And since you and I have a great relationship, I wanted to send it to you and get your feedback. Would that be okay?
Absolutely. I would really
Absolutely. Haley would love to have it. Yes. Perfect,
and really
guys.
quick, Charles, can you show us how to access that nurturing? Because I know I saw it the other day on command, but I was,
I think I can show her, but if you want to show us just to make sure I know what I'm talking about.
Yep. Let me get out of this pro
Super
coach.
easy.
Actually, I'll just leave the pro coach. Cool. So I'm in the pro coach account. And what I do is I go to a contact, right? So I'm going into contacts. And I think Margaret's in there. So I'm going to grab Margaret. Actually, I'm not going to grab Margaret because I don't want everyone to know where Margaret lives. I don't need everyone going through and egging her house. So then what I do, right, is as I go through and I add a neighborhood. So I went to their contact, I scroll down the left-hand side, and I go to add neighborhood. And I type in whatever that neighborhood is, right? So this was, come on. There it is, Westtown, right there. So that's a neighborhood. And you can see that I subscribe this person to Westtown. So what this monthly neighborhood nurture does, right? When you go in, you put them into the smart plan. And I don't think I've added any smart plans in here. So you're not going to be able to see, oh, my monthly neighborhood nurture. Perfect. So I hit select and it would sign them up. And this is what it does. Every month they get, well, there's only one house for sale over there. So what we have here is this. We have Google Maps. We have layered over the MLS, and then we layered over Nextdoor. We have an industry exclusive relationship with Nextdoor. And so what I did is I put Westtown in here, and this is actually where my townhome is, if anyone's curious. But I don't live there anymore, so don't be egging it, Haley. I see you over there, right? And so I have tenants in there. Don't harass my tenants.
It's my master plan. Yeah, that's
right.
Definitely something. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So my tenants are in this area now. So if I were to go through here, what this is anytime a house pops up for sale, it sends your client this email. And then what they can do is they can actually go in here and they can view the house, and they can go through and they can see that the house is listed for $525. It's actually pending right now. Went on 16 days ago. It's a 3-bed, 3-bath, 1,800 square feet. It's a multi-family. Here's all the info with the house. They can put in commute times, all the information lets them know where it is, the schools, the private schools. It actually has a mortgage calculator in here, guys. And then if anything, I'm in the Pro Coach account, so it's not associated with anyone. But if you send this from your email, it has all of your information in here. And if they ask for any info, it goes directly to you. Guys, this is hugely beneficial and hugely powerful. If you're sleeping on this, I recommend you start putting people on here, because guess what? They're going to open their email, they're going to see stuff, and they care about what's happening in their neighborhood. And what they can also do is they can actually go through I can't because this isn't a real person. I'm on someone else's account, but they can add neighborhoods. They can add up to 10 more neighborhoods that they care about. Go ahead, Haley.
I really like how that you can see if they've opened it or not. And
Yeah.
because I think that that's really important, seeing that the people are actually interested in you sending them properties.
Yeah, because check this out, right? Then I'm like, I see that Haley opened this, and I'm calling Haley, maybe like, hey Haley, it's been a week, and I'm like, just want to check in and see if you had an opportunity to open up the email, right? Some big brother stuff, right? Like I know Haley opened it. She doesn't know that I know that she opened it, but I'm calling. I'm just like, hey, did you have an opportunity? She's like, yeah, I did open it. I'm saying, did you find it? Like, how was it? Any takeaways for me that I could send to the team? All these different pieces. So guys, I highly recommend we start putting people on this, guys. People care about what's happening in their neighborhood. They care about the values of their home. And this is also the thing, like maybe they're renters and they're in a townhome or they're in a house and they're renting. They're still kind of curious, right? They're curious about what's happening. And so I'm just going through the same thing. And they might say, well, Charles, I'm renting. I'm like, well, if a house were to pop up for the right price point in that neighborhood, would you like to live in it? Maybe they're like, no, Charles, I don't want to live in this neighborhood. I'm like, okay, cool. Like what neighborhood would you want to move to? Guys, and they're telling me, and I'm setting them up for this search. I'm just firing it off to them. Guys, there's huge power in this.
I really like the, I think I'm more into the RE Colorado search. I really like that one too, but I think that both of them do the same thing, right?
Absolutely. I would actually set them up for both.
Okay.
I would.
Yeah.
Because that's just multiple touches again, right? They're knowing what's happening in their neighborhood and they're seeing what the prices look like. And then the other touch is anytime a house goes on the market, they're getting hit with it immediately. So absolutely.
Okay.
But it's obtained permission, guys. It's asking them, would it be okay? Would it be okay if I send this to you? And would you give me some feedback? And then collecting personal information, insights, and preferences, right? I'm going through your birthday, your kid's birthday, your dog's name, maybe your dog's birthday, right? Whatever that looks like. There's people out there. I was following a car today and it said something about their like dog children or something like that. There's those people out there. So we're going through and I'm making sure I'm getting all this information because then I'm able to do different things with it. Right? If I know their kid's birthday, maybe I'm sending their kids a birthday card with a $5, ice cream somewhere. Right? Because if we're winning with the children, we're winning with the spouses, we're winning with their dogs, right? Whatever that looks like, guys, there's no way they don't think about us. I promise you this. Like we are going through, and if we are winning with everyone in their world, it's going to be good for us. Business is going to be that much better. And then we segment and group our database. Someone tell me a little bit about segment and grouping.
Is that like tagging?
Yeah, it absolutely is tagging, right? Like I'm going through and I'm tagging the database, right? And guys, this is what's important. I don't want you to get crazy and just go start tagging everyone like I met this person here, met this person there, this is that, this is that. We are going through and we are tagging people so that we can systematically and strategically communicate out to them, right? So I might be a part of a group, right? Maybe it is a bowling league. And I might communicate out to this bowling league a little bit differently than I communicate out to my friends, right? So I might tag bowling league one way, and I might send out information that's funny around bowling and around houses and different stuff. And then I have my sphere of influence, right? Or my family. I'm going to communicate out to them totally different. And so when I'm sending out mass communication or emails, I want to be able to search through the tags so that I communicate to them. Even with my DTD2, right? My doing the database too, which I know a lot of you guys are doing, which is awesome. That actually tells you who you should be communicating out on a weekly basis. So yes, it is setting up tags so you can systematically and strategically communicate out to people. And engage the segments with purposeful and consistent communication, guys. We should be reaching out to people 36 times. 4 of those are phone calls. 4 phone calls per year. It's about 12 emails a year. It's about 12 pieces of direct mail a year, which is handwritten notes or marketing pieces and collateral, right? And then I like 3 birthday touches. I like the Facebook birthday touch. I like a card, and either a phone call or a text message, right? That's going to make up about 3 of mine as well. Guys, if you're going through and you're doing these different pieces, they will remember you. Hands down, guarantee it. And then automate custom communication built in around triggers, right? And that's why we start using our CRMs here, because then what we can do is the CRM can say, hey, Charles, it's been 350 days since this person bought their house. Send them a happy home anniversary. Guys, think about this. I want everyone on this call that either you have or you haven't done a deal this year or last year. What does it look like if you reach out to someone in your world, someone in your universe, and you wish them a happy home anniversary? Right? Maybe I didn't do a deal with them, but I want to say, hey, Anna, happy home anniversary. It's been 1 year since you bought this home. It was a great great financial decision that you made. And what I would like to do is send you a CMA so you know how much your home has appreciated free of charge. And Anne's going to be like, yeah, that would be cool, right? Like Anna's going to be like, yeah, I would like that. I wasn't Anna's real estate agent, but I asked permission if she wanted a CMA to know how much equity she has in her home, so she knows how smart she was by buying that house. And then I move in as the real estate economist of choice at that point, right? I don't care who the other dude was. Anna's going to see me as her next real estate agent because I'm providing her so much value at this point. Guys, is that doable? Does everyone feel comfortable doing some CMAs like that? Absolutely, right? Like that's huge. Guys, we should absolutely be doing stuff like this. Become the real estate economist of choice for our people, our tribes. You'll build a very big business this way. I 100% encourage this and challenge you all to do it. All right, guys, we have about 4 minutes till the end of this section of Practice to Perfect. Comments, questions, concerns that I can answer for you.
Isn't there a CMA challenge too this month?
Too.
Yeah, so I believe that Margaret has a CMA challenge, which I think is huge. And just going through, guys, because this is the thing, if you can get out there and provide stuff that people care about, right? Like everyone wants to know what their investment has done. Most people view their home as an investment. And so if you can say that, yeah, you bought this house for $500,000 and today it's worth $550,000, guys, you're a hero in their eyes. They're like, oh my God, thank you for showing this to me. And guess what? Their real estate agent is not doing this for them. They aren't. Guys, this is where we break through the noise and we become the real estate economist of choice by showing them all these different things, guys. 100%. Just ask people, see if they're interested in it. And some people, maybe they're not interested in it. I would just create it. Like maybe you don't even ask permission. You send it and you say, hey, I just wanted to create this. Let me know if you have any questions about it. And then just follow up. Hey, just wanted to reach out, see, if you had any questions about the CMA that I did for you about a week ago. What else, guys? What else are we thinking about around this? Well, there it is. Guys, knock out the CMA challenge. Please, please, please jump into your CRM and set some people up on some monthly neighborhood nurtures. I promise you it's going to pay dividends with them being able to see it. Don't blind do this though. Never blindly start sending people emails. Like don't distract them. Ask for permission to do this and turn it into a game and get permission to follow up with them. Hey, Jeff, I have this great new product KW rolled out like 3 years ago, but I'm not going to tell them that. It gives you up-to-date information about what's happening in your neighborhood. I value your opinion. May I send this to you? And then just follow up a little bit later to see if it's see how it's going, right? Like permission based. Yes, Maria.
Hey, Charles. So I was going to ask you, so I have someone that I'm actually talking to. She's like cleaning up her credit and whatnot. And so she's interested in like a few different neighborhoods outside of her neighborhood. Is that still a possibility to add her on something like that? Like, is it like can you go out just off neighborhoods?
Yeah, so that was so the monthly neighborhood nurture is neighborhood specific, and it's going to let them know what has popped up and what has gone pending.
Okay.
And I know Haley can show you how to set it up on even the MLS, and then MLS you can go neighborhood specific as well, but both will work. And what I like about Command is it's going to show you that they touched it and interacted with it. This RE Colorado does it a little bit, but it doesn't give you very in-depth info that they're doing it. For the most part, it just lets you know when they're not doing it.
Okay.
I think on MLS it'll let you know the time they do it too. But also on the Command, will it let you choose a certain price point as well?
Yeah, you can set so that's a little bit different. Not in the monthly neighborhood nurture. You can do it in a home search. We actually have the ability to set up home searches through Command.
Okay.
Perfect. Awesome, guys. Hey, I appreciate you all jumping on the call today. If I can help you in any way, send me a text, give me a call. Let's go from there. Have a great rest of your day. It is snowing in Arvada. I just looked back there. There's snow hitting the ground.
Yep.
So be safe out there, stay warm, and let's keep crushing it. Thank you all.
Friday.
Thank you.
Happy Friday. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.